This is the Dealer Playbook Podcast, episode 23, and our guest today is Elise Kephart-Adame. Here we go.
You're dialed in to the Dealer Playbook Podcast, where it's all about winning auto dealer strategies that deliver proven results. And now your hosts, Robert Weissman and Michael Cirillo.
Hello and welcome to the Dealer Playbook Podcast, episode 23. My name is Michael Cirillo. I'm here with Robert Weissman. How's it going, buddy?
It is going excellent, my man. What's up with you?
Oh, man. You know what? Lots of stuff going on. I mean, you're going to be at Unfair Advantage Mastermind Group.
How about that vacation? Apologize. We took a little vacation week for the Dealer Playbook.
Yeah, you know what? There were
week.
lots of things going on. Back to school with the kids. But you know what? That gave you some extra time to catch up on all of those episodes that you probably or may have missed out on, because you know what? The podcast that we do is all about delivering you winning strategies that will also bring results. Now, we understand that getting results can be a little bit subjective because there is the need for application. So we hope and would love to hear from you about your application of the things that we talk about with the guests on the Dealer Playbook to see what's working for you. We would absolutely love your feedback. Don't forget, in line with that, to go check out iTunes and leave us your feedback there. We would greatly appreciate it. Now, today, in the spirit of delivering those winning strategies for you and your dealership, we have an incredible guest, and we've really kind of been vibing on this whole women in the car business thing lately, haven't we? We were getting to the point where it was a little bit, of a dude fest, but we've had some incredible, powerful women from within the automotive industry to share with you the things that they see work so incredibly well. Today is no exception. We are sitting down with Elise Kephart-Adame. That's right, Adame.
Adame. I forgot she was a girl.
Oh, who's over at Phone Ninjas. And you know what? And she's a specialist in setting up BDCs, setting up internet departments so that you can get the most profitability out of your department. We realize there's a ton of dealerships in North America, around the world even, who are struggling to increase show rates and increasing profitability. And that's why we felt it so important to have someone like Elise on, who's worked the front lines, who's also working the vendor side now, but who brings just a wealth of information.
Yep. Elise is great. And she's just, I've been friends with her for a while, and she has, great work ethic, and she's highly trained and, just knows her stuff flat out.
Well, I mean, she's aside from you, the show's about her today and about helping the dealerships, but you guys are really the most used examples at any events that I've attended in the automotive industry about, car people who execute and who saw incredible results. So that's, why we wanted to have her on the show. Like you said, we're so glad to call her a friend. She's a great friend of ours. And so without taking too much time here in the intro, let's just jump into Elise Kephart-Adame from Phone Ninjas.
Here we go.
And we are here with Elise Kephart-Adame. That's right. I said it right. The last name Adame, who is over at Phone Ninjas. And you know what's so cool about her? Isn't that it? Did I say it right?
No, you got it right. You got it right.
You see what I'm saying?
It's not Adame. It's not Adams. It's not.
Oh, really? See, I always thought the whole time Elise Kephart-Adame.
Cirillo in the house.
Adame.
All right, we're high-fiving right now. Elise, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Loving life and loving that we just showed Robert up and pretty much the whole automotive world how to pronounce your name. But listen, we're so excited to have you with us today because we are going to be discussing, some things that, let's face it, a lot of dealerships need help with. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. There's a lot of dealerships that need help, and that's why I'm so excited to be where I'm at right now, because I get to help dealerships.
Cool. So, and I mean, primarily what you're doing over there at Phone Ninjas is, you're really jumping into the dealerships, helping them set up their internet departments, helping them set up their BDCs, and then also a focus on training. And I mean, we've had some guests in the past that have been very training centric, and I mean, and there's a good reason for it. And that's because people just absolutely need to know what to do. And we've found that the various departments inside the dealership have different, should we call them recipes for success?
Yeah.
And you focus on one of those. So I figure, let's just jump right into it and talk about phone training. Let's talk about the right ways, the do's and the don'ts of setting up a dealership's internet department so that they can see maximum results. My first question to you along those lines is really where should, let's say, talking to our friend, the dealer principal, or general manager, where should their focus be? What's the first step that they should be kind of implementing to get a successful internet department?
Well, you had just kind of brought it up just now, and that first step, is finding that recipe that works and streamlining it through their internet salespeople. Whether you have it set up, the BDC set up where it's just appointment setters and then they flip it to the salespeople, or if it's full internet salespeople that actually work at cradle to the grave. Those initial steps of handling, getting an internet lead on the phone and then setting that phone call to an in-store appointment, is the first step. I was thinking about it the other day, and I, a lot of people know my background way before the car business. I worked at Starbucks, and when you're working at Starbucks, they put you through training, and this is something as simple as how to make a white mocha and how to make a mocha and how to make coffee drinks. But essentially, they train you on this is the recipe to make a venti white mocha. This is what you need to do, and this is how you make it. And so it's essentially kind of just taking, again, that same format of this is the recipe on what you need to do to take an internet lead, to get them, to get them on the phone, to make that first contact, and then to set the appointment, whether it's for yourself, again, if you're working the deals cradle to the grave, or if it's setting an appointment for the actual dealership and then having a salesperson work with that client once they're in the store.
All right. So let me ask you this. So let's take it a step even prior to then. With your experience and with your exposure to many dealership structures, what do you feel is the best back end, structure to that? Is it a BDC that, because I know our friend Sean Bradley with Dealer Synergy, he is against he has his beliefs, and he believes that if you're on the BDC, you don't come out and greet that customer and do like a handoff or anything like that, because that person should not be taken away from just laser focus on the phones and setting appointments. But then again, there's the whole the relationship, because as we know, it's rare you get them in touch with them the first call, and a lot of times you don't close the appointment on the first contact. So there starts that relationship. So then turning that over, that makes some people sour. But that being said, I mean, where do you feel is the strongest?
There was a point where I said everybody should, even larger stores with thousands of internet leads should just cross-train it. I mean, I truly think everybody should be cross-trained to know how to talk on the phone, how to set their own appointments, how to master, the phone to kind of create their own leads. I think that's important. But, I do see the one flaw in that method, in that if everybody is busy, so if you have really strong hitters that are working deals cradle to the grave and everybody's busy, and you have internet leads coming in and everybody's, working with customers at that point in the store, then, those internet leads are waiting until someone can handle them. So I'm almost kind of in the middle. I think there should be some type of hybrid version, because I do think there is a strength there when, you are talking to the customer and setting the appointment, and then you get to work with them directly. But I do realize that there are times when, there was even times for me when I was, working with customers in the store for the appointments that I had set, and then I would get a text notification on my phone that a new lead had come in. And so when I was selling cars, we kind of had a hybrid setup where there was like a backup person to at least try and make that first initial contact if the actual internet salespeople were with customers in the store, on test drives or whatnot.
And what I do like where you said is that, and that's a thing that gets ignored and that I saw a lot, is that people would set appointments, all right, but then whoever they were coming to see for that appointment, that person would not be available at that time because they had either double booked appointments there or waited on a fresh up that came through. And you're talking about people that it's like, if you want them to honor the appointment and to show, then you have to respect them when they get there. The person that they have an appointment with needs to be free and needs to see them right away, not you don't set an appointment to come sit and wait for another hour. I mean, unless you're at the doctor's office. But that's just promoting the whole thing. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter if I set an appointment or not because I'm going to wait anytime anyway. Or, why should I even call and cancel or reschedule because I can't make it? Because if I get there anyway, I'm going to wait around for someone anyway.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I would, that's a key point there as well, and some people, you have situations where sometimes they don't have an appointment and you might just have a referral pop in or just someone come in unexpectedly, and I always like to have someone in the store that was that you buddied with, that you knew you could work deals with and trust. And if it was a situation where someone just popped in or I did happen to overbook, a lot of times I would usually schedule, in 2.5 to 3 hour increments, my appointments. But if someone came in a little early and then the first person came in a little later, then I would have to make that transition. But I always had kind of a go-to person that I knew would handle the customers, my customers accordingly.
So I mean, even if it's, because I work with a lot of dealerships where there's just one individual at the dealership. So what you're really saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there still kind of needs to be a team effort, even if you are the main point person there. You have to have this buddy system. So what was your process for finding the right individual to, be on board with you on this?
Well, the store that I was at, we kind of went through some different setups, and we tried. There was a point
you were an appointment setter pretty much at one time, right?
At one time, right? Because what was happening is exactly what we were talking about. I was setting so many appointments that 4 people would show up at once, and then I would take one customer, and then the other 3 I would hand off to my buddy, and then the other 2 would be just people on the floor. And it created a little bit of conflict there because, nobody, I mean, it's a controversy, but a lot of salespeople don't want to work for half deals. And so essentially what the store that I was working at did was they said, okay, we're going to just have you work the internet leads, set the appointments, and then we're going to give everybody on the floor the appointments that you set. And that worked well for everybody, in the store, because all the salespeople were selling more cars. But from a personal standpoint, part of what I really enjoyed in the car business when I was selling cars was being able to finish the deal all the way through. So I did, I just did the appointment settings for, 300 leads for about 8 months. But to be honest, for me personally, it drove me crazy just because I had been on the other side of things where I go on the test drive and I get to work the figures and negotiate and do all the stuff after the customer's in the store. So, yeah.
Let me ask you this, and I'm gonna just hop around, just segue kind of to something to expand the conversation. When you're talking, all right, when you're trying to follow up with a customer, internet lead, whatever. How many times? Well, not how many. How many times do you need to confirm? Let's say they set something up. Let's say we all get that Tuesday, Wednesday lead or engagement, and they're like, I can't make it until Saturday. All right, and you look them into Saturday. Then what? Between that 3-day gap period between that day and that day, what kind of process do you recommend just to that will increase their show ratio? Because what is it? I remember it's like X amount of days they book the appointment out. The percentage of them showing drops.
So one of the things that I would do is, so let's say I made contact with that customer. Let's say it was an internet lead that came in on a Wednesday. And let's say that same day, I was actually able to make contact with them that same day, try to get them in Wednesday. And, they're booked through the work week. So they commit to a Saturday appointment. In between those, in between those 3 days, what I'll actually do is I would make these like VIP packets, and I would get like an 8.5 by 11 envelope, and then inside the envelope, I would have like a cover letter that I had kind of pre-set up through my CRM. I'd make a quick signature on it, and then just a quick note on the bottom. Hey, look forward to seeing you Saturday at 2:00. And then the other pages in that packet would be a testimonial page, like with pictures of my customers and some quotes of what they said about working with me. I'd have like a quick bio page about me, and then I would include an actual factory brochure on the car that they were interested in, or the cars that they were interested in. I would mail it out that same day. So if I scheduled that appointment like Wednesday at 10:00, the mail wouldn't pick up till noon. I would put that packet out, and it would usually, if it was local, get there on Thursday or Friday at the latest. And a lot of times these customers would come in like for their appointment, and when I was appraising their trade or whatnot, I would see that packet on their passenger
in the car.
Seat. Yeah, in the car. And then of course in between there, I would send them a follow-up video greeting, as well as like a text message confirmation of their appointment, and keeping them in the loop.
Would you call the day before or that morning if they had like a 1:00? Would you call them again make sure to call them that morning, or would you make sure that one day prior?
Yeah, one day prior. So let's say the appointment was for Saturday at 2:00. Let's go with that. I would call them on Friday and just leave if I didn't make contact, I would just leave a voicemail, and then I would also send a text message. Text messaging seemed to work really well with a lot of customers. And I know even for me, like my email right now, my Yahoo account, I have like 1,000 emails that I just haven't had the time to clear out. But text messages usually I'll respond to, more frequently than email. So I would call them on Friday and confirm it, and then also send them a text message to confirm it. And then they would get that packet in the mail like on Thursday or Friday, and that packet in the mail, that's just kind of, again, one of those little things that wouldn't take a lot of time. I would shoot it out in the mail that day. Yep. And it's personal too, because it has just a quick handwritten note for me, and then just kind of a little bit about me, and then testimonials.
I used to do the same kind of thing, and it works because there's more competition and more spam in their inbox, their email inbox today than there actually is in your physical mailbox.
Right.
Believe it, as funny as that may sound. So, real quick about video in your follow up. You and me were talking about this the other day. The video. So in your process, your follow-up process that you talk about, video it's not really, and a lot of people mistake in this, but it's not really your secret sauce to why you've had success with it. It's just one piece of that recipe or component, etc.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of feedback that I've gotten is like is videos, if you don't have the right training on it and a lot of knowledge, like it could take a while to put a video together. But what I would always do is I would use video, like you said, as just kind of one piece of the big puzzle. And that video would always be aimed towards, if I hadn't made contact with the customer, that video would kind of be breaking the barriers a little bit to introduce myself and then get the customer on the phone. And so with those video messages, prior to understanding the proper phone technique, I would send video messages that would be that would get the job done, but they wouldn't be as effective. They would say something like, "Hey Robert, it's Elise here at ABC Motors. Just wanted to thank you for your internet request. If you have any questions, let me know. My number's listed below, and I look forward to working with you soon." And that, of course, kind of did the job right. But as I started to learn the right technique, I aimed those video messages to say something more along the lines of like, "Hey Robert, this is Elise here at ABC Motors. I just left you a voicemail. As mentioned, I have some really great news for you in regards to that internet request you sent over for the Honda Civic. Give me a call back. My number's listed here below. It's about morning time here on Tuesday. I'll be in the office till about 7 o'clock tonight, and I'll be sure to reach out to you later today if I don't hear anything back." And so that video greeting is essentially very similar to what I left on on the voicemail, right, on the voicemail, except they can see my face, and then I would have like a 10-second little testimonial.
So you're using the same playbook, so to speak, that you do on the phone, because of obviously what you've done on the phone works for you. So you just incorporate it into video, and
it's all these elements to keep you as the salesperson top of mind.
Right. So I'm trying to hit them from like every angle. So So they're getting a voicemail from me. They're getting an email with a video greeting. I'll copy and paste the link in the text message format as well so they can open it on their smartphone. They're going to get a packet from me that's going to be there the next day in the mail. So essentially every form of communication other than just actually stalking them hardcore, knocking on their door in person, every form of communication, I want to be there so that, that I'm hitting them at every angle.
And so, okay, so you had mentioned 3 things. First one was the VIP packet.
Yeah.
Second one was, I guess, the video kind of follow-up series, phone and video, or video with the objective of getting them on the phone.
Right. So the first thing is, if I want to pick up the phone first, that's going to be my first initial step. Because if I can, luck be told, if that customer picks up the phone, first try, then I don't have to send them a video greeting to try to get them to call me back.
All right. Let me ask you this. I'm not to cut you off, but this is based off of that. So I used to do, so here's what I did. Now, we've talked, and I think you've done the same thing. If I didn't have a phone number, all right, and automatically a lot of people discredit a lead that doesn't have a phone number. Sure. That's just an email. And to me, I think that's how I submit a lead. That's me as a lead right there, is email only. Now, me, because I am me, I used to copy and paste the name, you know how it is, into whitepages.com, whatever, get their phone number and call them up like it was nothing. Now, but today, now on the outside looking into it, and me being the consumer I am, it's like, dude, if somebody did that to me, like, I would automatically be done with them.
Stalker.
Because if I wanted to engage with you via a phone connection, I would put my phone number in there.
Sure. I wouldn't, if they didn't have a phone number, then I would still look them up on White Pages for their address. I would get that packet sent out first day. And then I would send them a video greeting like, hey, Robert, my name's Elise here at ABC Motors. I didn't see a phone number to reach out, but I have some really great news. When you have a quick moment, and I would try and engage them that way. When you have a quick moment, give me a call. My number here is blah, blah, blah. And I would send them that video message. And a lot of times with no phone number, the reason they don't put a phone number is because car salespeople and dealerships and the whole car business in general, has a bad rep. They have the
it still could be also that, yes, that's true, but it could be open-minded individuals that still don't want to be, they'd rather engage with you via email, let alone no matter what, if I'm shopping for a computer, insurance, whatever,
sure,
that I'm going to engage through email.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I would still try and, focus. If they didn't put a phone number, I would still send them a video.
You would try to sell them on a phone call.
And try and if it came down to I only want to communicate email, then I'm not going to fight it. In that case, then I would go into, okay, perfect, just to verify a little bit of information. And it would almost be like a chat, but an email, because they would a lot of times they would respond straight from their smartphone.
Well, it comes back quick. It's almost like a chat with some people.
So basically, don't kick against the prick. If you've done everything that you possibly can to try and convert that customer into a phone lead and then into a show, but they're not going for it, then don't fight against it. If they want to be an email lead and correspond on email, then just go with it. I mean, don't create resistance for yourself, right?
No, but initially, Elise, you think that, the objective is through email engagement, whether they have a phone number and you can't get a hold of them, or it's just an email, is at least try to close them on the phone call from that, no matter what. Like, I never would try to close appointments through email unless they were engaging like that. But I would always try to, my close at that step of the sale was close them on a phone call. Boom. Okay, I got a phone call scheduled. Boom. That's done. And then I'm going to close them on the appointment.
Okay, so would you agree then, Elise? It goes without saying. I mean, both of you have the experience inside the dealership, but what I'm hearing is you want people on the phone. I mean, that's your most qualified lead.
Right, and the reason for that, it just goes back to the site, prior to when there was email or internet or video or whatever it be. The psychology of selling is, from our perspective, as far as selling, when you can communicate with a customer, over the phone, then you can hear their voice and you can hear the words that I'm saying. And then when they're in the store, now you have that face-to-face part of it, where you can show a lot more expression, hand gestures, and whatnot to to sell and to show your product. And so that's why, I never would try. Like, my phone calls typically were very short. I wouldn't try and sell the car over the phone. I would get a little bit of information on, what they think they might be looking at and what they're driving now. And then I would always go into, well, hey, great news. We actually just got a new shipment of Honda Accord, so I have really good availability. Speaking of which, when would you be available? Right now or later today work best for you? And it would be, a lot of times it would just be as easy as that, just in setting the appointment. And then be like, well, I got to, I'm working today, possibly tomorrow, but I got to bring my wife, and then, handle it from there. But a lot of times, if you can just keep the phone call short and not try and sell the car about all of its accolades and awards and warranty and whatnot over the phone, then, again, your focus is getting the appointment. But you need to, it's an art craft almost. You need to really get the training and the right way to do it to where it sounds, where it's genuine. And I think that's part of what made me really successful is I would, I learned it, and then I would be doing it so much, and I trained on it, of course, that it just became natural to where it wasn't a script. It wasn't, I didn't sound like a robot. It was just something that came natural to me.
Yep. And that's, I think, where a lot of salespeople lack on the problem with on the phone is that they don't have the preparation, they don't have the training and scripts. And it's like, when you just because you're using scripts does not mean you're reading from the script. And a lot of people they confuse that. And the benefit of, like, having the scripts, knowing the word tracks for the phone, when you don't have to wing it, your confidence level is skyrocketed, which is going to, the person on the other end of the phone is going to feel that. And you're not, you're not investing energy and time into winging it, because it's exhausting.
Right.
So the preparation is key.
Right.
I was thinking about, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to, just like when I first got into the car business, you get a little bit of training on, these are the steps to the sale. You get a walk in, you meet and greet, you build rapport, you investigate, and you learn those steps. It's kind of the same type of learning curve, except now, the customer's not face to face with you. Now the customer is, all is their name, email, and possibly phone number. And what are the steps to get that customer on the phone, and then from the phone, what are the things that you say to, get them in the store?
Okay, so
Sorry.
no, good point. So, and I mean, in this I was thinking about this the other day. Believe it or not, I've had my own customers, some of them say to me that they don't credit it as a lead unless it's a web form submission. And that sounded so bizarre to me until what you guys were just talking about now, which kind of makes sense. You're talking about word tracks and kind of having scripts and not winging it. Do you think that some dealerships are kind of discrediting their phone leads because they don't have perhaps confidence that comes as a result of training or education, but they're maybe more comfortable with web form leads because, I mean, when you sit down at your computer and you're sending an email to somebody, it's almost easier for you to know what to say.
And Michael, there is nothing that is more hot than an incoming phone call.
Well, and exactly, and that's why I asked.
Lead in the game.
That's why I asked that original question about phone leads. I mean, I understand it's leading, and I know the value of in our own business getting people on the phone. But I wanted to say that because I know that there are dealerships listening in who maybe have that mindset where they are discrediting their phone leads, and I wanted to kind of draw that. Or align it with the fact that maybe because there's a lack of confidence because they don't have the right word tracks or scripts or properly know how to handle those leads to get the real value out of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you said, here, take 100 phone calls, and you just kind of winged it and you didn't see any results from it, then typically salespeople would get frustrated because they're not seeing results, and they're like, oh, it's just another customer calling in. But if you get the training and you have the right recipe to convert that, and you know the right steps to convert that phone lead to get their contact information, first, last name, phone number, email, and then set the appointment. Then once you start seeing results, then the mindset almost changes. But it's demotivating for a lot of salespeople to take phone calls or internet leads for that matter and when they don't get results from it. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's because they stink at it. Like I'm no good at golf, so I never want to play golf.
Right.
Cool.
Right,
fair enough.
right.
So, but I mean, the thing that I love about this, and I think the both of you would agree, is that this is something that's in your control. And typically when we fear things, it's because we feel like they're out of our control, but something in this case can be easily remedied. The fear of handling phone can be easily remedied by educating yourself and training yourself, and then applying what you learn so that it doesn't become a problem for you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just always so conscious of how many leads are kind of falling by the wayside because
a lot
the dealer doesn't know how to handle them.
Yep.
And I mean, and it can be easily remedied with the right training, learning the right recipe for the right desired outcome, and then applying it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And once you get comfortable with the phone and really start to dive in head first and learn as much as you can about handling the inbound or outbound, there's really only, the advantage is that there's really only 5, maybe 6 different ways the conversation can go. With that kind of, knowing that going in, then you can prepare yourself for what happens if when it's only 5 or 6, it's easy to prepare yourself for each scenario. That's something that gets so overlooked, is the planning of, listen, we know how it's going to go. Okay. Yeah. It might not go about price on this one. This one might be about availability or, my trade value, this and that, but in it, straight out where it's going to go.
Again, it just goes back to like one of the first things that I learned is, selling cars was when the customer's even at your desk and they say, I want to think about it. Well, you learned almost like a belt buckle of things to say back when they say, I want to think about it. Or, when they say like the payment's too high or I don't have the money or whatever it is. Like you learn all those word tracks when the customer is in the store. And so it's just kind of taking that same mentality and learning the right things to say on the phone, to close them to the appointment. So
the amount of deals that are blown from just something as simple as saying the wrong things at the wrong time is mind blowing.
Right.
That you necessarily don't know right then and there on that phone call or in person with that person that, man, I just killed this deal by saying this. They're not letting you know that either because they don't want the confrontation. Most people aren't going to want that confrontation right then and there. But when they're leaving, believe it, you're watch them drive off for the last time.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, let me just tell you, Elise is a wealth of information, and it's information that she's learned through experience. She's been in the trenches, on the front line. She's applied what we've been talking about today. Elise, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is geeky of me to say, but I think you guys know I listen to the Dealer podcast, every time you guys have one. So I'm a huge fan. So I'm really thankful that I got to be on today.
Well, we're a fan of you, and you covered some incredible things that will definitely help. I mean, if you're in a position at your dealership where you feel like, man, there's got to be something I can do to kick things up a notch to, increase my show ratio. Here are some things that you can do. It's like Elise talked about, get a VIP pack together, just do things, think outside the box. And I think it goes without saying, Elise, I mean, you are always shared as an incredible example at any conference or event that goes on in the industry of just someone who, who thought outside the box to the point where it just, turned into great profitability for you. So the things that you teach are absolutely vital. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
I will. I'll give this to you so you can put it in the notes. But my phone number is area code 805-441-3398, And my email is my first name, Elise, Elise, at phoneninjas.com.
How do you pronounce the last name again? What has that?
Come on,
I forget. Adam, what is it?
Adame.
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 Oh, man, I was never gonna forget that one. So, Elise, I'll see you on Sunday, right?
Sunday. Yeah. Man, I'm gonna fly in on. I'm flying in on Saturday. Actually, come to think of it, I fly in late Saturday.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be rocking out at the Unfair Advantage. Mastermind group.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool for those.
And I get to do breakout sessions on Sunday, and I am first. And like always, she is behind my coattails. She's presenting she's the
headliner?
Me. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? She's the headliner?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and talk about everything, my stuff, what I have, and then go ahead and talk about all of her stuff too. And, blow.
Great. And do you want to share your Twitter handle as well, where people can follow you on Twitter?
Yeah. The Twitter handle is the YouTube Diva.
Great.
So all one word.
You've got some events coming up. You've got the Phone Ninjas thing going on. Again, if you want to get in touch with Elise Kephart-Adame, 805-441-3398, and then on Twitter at the YouTube Diva. Thank you so much again. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
And there you have it. That was, again, our friend Elise Kephart. What is it?
Adame.
Elise Kephart-Adame. Man, I've been saying that wrong for a long time. Again, she's, we were talking about how much we like when people like Elise, people that we genuinely have real friendships with. I mean, not against anybody else, not trying to sound a certain way against anybody from our past episodes, but we Michael and myself, we have a good relationship with her. We always hang out because we're always traveling to all the same events and stuff. So we've definitely become friends. So the conversations are always interesting.
Well, and I mean,
we have this type of individual.
Even just recently, we had a very How I Met Your Mother experience in Seattle, which was so much fun. So
yeah, that was a great time.
No, and I mean, the thing I love about what we were talking about today is it's something that so many dealerships need help with. And we didn't get to any statistics, but I imagine, a good percentage of dealerships in the United States, Canada, and again, around the world are just struggling to know what they can do. And so I love that she just kind of had a simple process. It's like, hey, look, if your objective is to get people on the phone. If you can't get them on the phone, here are a couple of things. Like she talked about the VIP pack where she put a cover letter and some testimonials and a brochure that she would, mail out. And I loved your point about how things have kind of gone reverse there, where it's like, you're getting so many spam messages in your email inbox that it's almost cool. It's a breath of fresh air to kind of go back to the.
Yeah, bro, that takes us back to what in our first couple episodes, first 10, where we had
Mr.
Troy Spring, and he talks about that same theory, and really not theory, but that same strategy that good mail is still valuable and still converts, and that she's putting a lot of time, and it's a personable packet, and it's nobody else is sending them that.
And then of course just having scripts that you can work off to make your own so that what to do. We talked a little bit about how there are those of you who may be a little bit fearful of the phone, but that really is in your control to eliminate by educating yourself and by getting the training. So again, if you want to reach out to Elise, I know she'd love it. Her phone number, again, 805-441-3398, or you can connect with her on Twitter at the YouTube Diva. Now, listen.
All of these links are at dealerplaybook.com.
That's right. That's what I was just going to say.
23.
Check
Michael
out
Jordan.
Exactly. The Jordan episode. thedealerplaybook.com/23. Also, do us a favor. We'd love to hear your feedback. So comment on the show notes. Ask your questions. We'll have Elise look through those as well, and she can kind of jump into the conversation, and we can jump in. And the whole objective here is that we want as much learning to happen as possible. Also, do another favor, because we want you to constantly be learning what works and what you can be doing to expand your profitability. I want to just give a quick plug here. One of my 3 favors, which is go check out michaelacirillo.com/book. I've got a book coming out that's going to talk a lot about the online marketing aspect. You've got a connection here to Elise, so we want you to connect at thedealerplaybook.com/23. And then, of course, the last thing is subscribe. We'd love for you to get the latest Dealer Playbook episode delivered right to your inbox, complete with the show notes and a link to the audio, so you can kind of take it with you, whether you're on your commute to work, whether you're at the gym, or whatever else you might be doing, mowing the lawn or raking leaves as we're heading into the fall. We appreciate your support. We're so excited being listened to in over 50 countries. So,
yep. Thank you so much for being here. We definitely appreciate that.
We'll talk to you next time.